Viewers, you're watching The Hard Facts, brought to you from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Prime Time studio. Viewers, as you know on this show, we always look at some of the toughest issues that face the nation. I don't run away, viewers, from matters that could very easily turn controversial. This is because, viewers, this show is underpinned by hard facts. And the hard facts are the basis of every robust argument. So, viewers, when you're backed with hard facts, you can tackle troublesome issues. And therefore, viewers, tonight, we're going to ask some questions which many people might find uncomfortable. But they are being prompted, viewers, not from my mind, but from the order of the Allahabad High Court. In a very significant judgment, the Allahabad High Court has drawn a timely red line around the ongoing culture of mass conversions out of the Hindu religion. The High Court has ruled that freedom or the right to practice a religion, viewers, which is guaranteed by our constitution, doesn't automatically give the right to convert others. Please understand. Go ahead, practice your religion, but don't proselytise. That's what the High Court is saying. The order was pronounced in the context of a case brought against an individual who was intent on converting masses of Hindus to Christianity. His name is Srinivas Nayak. He's accused of running a conversion racket in Maharajganj, Uttar Pradesh. The accused, viewers, hailed from Andhra Pradesh. And he told local Hindus there in Maharajganj that converting to Christianity would, quote, aid progress, unquote. Even though no money purportedly changed hands, the High Court ruled that his actions fell foul of the state's anti-conversion law. The HC ruled, viewers, and let me quote it, "The Constitution confers on each individual the fundamental right to practice and propagate his or her religion. However, individual right of freedom of conscience and religion cannot be extended to construe a collective right to proselytise," unquote. The High Court went on to say, the Constitution confers on anyone the fundamental right to profess, practice and propagate his or her religion. However, the individual right to freedom of conscience and religion cannot be extended to construe a collective right to proselytise. The right to religious freedom belongs equally to the person converting and the individual sought to be converted, unquote. Now, viewers, this is a timely pronouncement by the Allahabad High Court and will go a long way in lessening fears, assuaging fears among Hindus that their faith will meet the same fate as indigenous faiths in North, Latin, South America, Africa and Asia when they encountered Abrahamic organized religions like Islam and Christianity. As is well known, the Hindu faith, which is essentially a dharmic tradition, does not proselytize or convert, as there is no concept of the kafir or infidel, viewers. But in India, the Hindu faith does coexist with Abrahamic traditions, whose followers are ordained to propagate their faith. In fact, the Indian Constitution expressly recognizes the right of book traditions like Islam and Christianity to propagate their faiths, viewers. Now, what does Article 25 of the Constitution say? And that's why I said that there is license to propagate, viewers, in this country. It says that the freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion exists in this country. Unfortunately, viewers, somewhere along the way, the thin line that separates the freedom to propagate one's faith and the right to proselytize or convert has been blurred. Now, viewers, there is a big difference between the right to propagate and the right to proselytize. Let me bring out the definitions for you, side by side. What does the right to propagate mean? It means sharing one's belief, ideas, and core values with others without coercing or inducing them to convert. But viewers, as you know, when you speak to someone, when you educate them, so to speak, they could easily buy into your point of view and decide to convert, even though there may not be any express inducement. The right to proselytize, viewers, is described as actively seeking to convert others to one's own religion, often with persuasion, inducement, or coercion. So, materially, there are two very different definitions, viewers. One specifies that, look, if you are propagating, then you can basically share your belief, ideas, and core values with others without coercion. But viewers, proselytization means actively seeking to convert others to one's own religion. Now, this word actively seeking, viewers, is problematic, because if you talk to somebody and you want to tell them about the virtues of your faith, you could actually actively be trying to plant the seed in them, viewers. In the past, the Supreme Court has attempted to expressly draw a distinction. In the Reverend Stanislav V. versus State of Madhya Pradesh 1977 order, the Supreme Court said the right to propagate one's religion is a fundamental right under Article 35 of the Indian Constitution. However, this right does not include the right to convert others by force, fraud, or allurement. But despite the Supreme Court ruling in the name of propagating their faith, some continue to convert or proselytize. This is primarily because, as already pointed out, it isn't easy to distinguish between propagation and proselytization. This carte blanche to conversions poses a serious threat to the long-term survival prospects of the Hindu tradition. Some anxious Hindus have suggested that the courts of parliament, in fact, must look to close the loophole by changing the law to curb propagation entirely. Because this may be difficult without violating Article 25, others have suggested that a consensus should be arrived at between leaders of various faiths. Viewers, corporations sometimes have non-poaching agreements. We will not take your staff, you don't take ours. Maybe, viewers, leaders of various faiths could sign non-poaching clauses. If Hindus have an obligation to address non-Hindu anxieties about, quote, majoritarian imposition, unquote, the non-Hindus are equally obligated to appreciate Hindu anxieties about conversion, whether forced or through mass conversion ceremonies or even induced through marriage. The right to propagate is unfortunately being misused by Abrahamic faiths to proceed for aggressive conversion drives. The High Court judgment should prompt non-Hindu faith leaders in India to publicly discourage conversions. This will go a long way in restoring confidence among Hindus that there is no organized attempt being made to eradicate Hinduism or supplant it with other faiths in India. Viewers, perhaps this High Court order is now a call for action in this direction. Let's open this up for discussion. Vishnu Shankar Jain, advocate of the Supreme Court, Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, are both with us. Adil Hassan, spokesperson of the AIMM, Karan Verma, an author, are with us. Now, I want to first begin with you, Mr. Sanjay Hegde. Look, it's a difficult subject. It's not an easy one, and one should not oversimplify complex issues. But here the court, like the Supreme Court in the Stanislav judgment, has tried to draw a distinction between propagation and proselytization. Now, as you know, these lines, these distinctions can easily be blurred. Has the time come, perhaps, to just stop the concept of propagation altogether? And is it possible under the law?
Well, let's get into some constitutional history. The right to propagate was specifically put in the Constituent Assembly debates by many people, including Father Jerome D'Souza, who was a member of the Constituent Assembly. The point is that ultimately, as you yourself said, that faiths are propagated when you tell people, this is my faith, this is the way I seek salvation. Maybe it will work for you. There are also people who say that, look, in my faith, we look after our people. We provide them medical facilities. We provide them educational institutions. And admission there is much cheaper. So people have for various reasons converted. Now, the thing is that religion or religious faith is a matter of deep personal choice. And quite what the High Court today has done is nothing more than reiterate Stanislaus, which was the Constitution Bench judgment. But the significance of Stanislaus is that it was a judgment passed at the height of the emergency by Justice A.N. Ray. There have been other judges later on who have in speeches doubted the correctness of Stanislaus. And for somebody who has a very loose faith, as it were, who's not rigid in matters of faith, I don't see any problem if you convert to faith X one day and faith Y the other day. And what is this rigidity? How do you, in the law, presume that because somebody converted because of X reason, Y reason, this, that, and the other, he can't convert back the other day, the next day? So what is it? Let everybody propagate their religion. And it is in the marketplace of religions, let every citizen make his choice. This is no, religions are not necessarily, what shall we say, cattle sheds for the herd, that you can stay in this shed alone and you cannot go over to the other shed, or you cannot go with your family or with your entire community. See, these are all matters for people to decide at their very individual level, or in connection with a lot of other people. I don't think the law has any business in deciding who can convert for what reason.
On that point, since you brought up the marketplace, and I want to bring in now Vishnu Shankar Jain also, but not before I come back to you, and hopefully you can sort of clarify this. Since you brought out a marketplace, in marketplace, there is what is known as a level playing field between products. Let's put it like that. So if you were to reduce religions to products or ideas that can be sort of, acquired, let's say, loosely, then the Hindu faith or the Hindu tradition suffers because it is not organized. It's not like, let's say, Pepsi or Coke. It is neither of these. It could be all of these. It doesn't have a specific brand. So it becomes a bit difficult, isn't it? It becomes a bit difficult in the face of...
See, listen. Now let me talk with what I understand of Hinduism as my mother taught me. Hinduism says that there are several paths. All of them are equally valid. You can worship Shiva, you can worship Vishnu, you can worship Ganapati.
That's
you
right.
all go to the same place. Whatever name, if you can worship under this name, that name, or the other, you can worship it as Allah. You can worship. You can worship the Almighty as. So, in a pluralistic way of life, confining people, saying that since you were born in this particular faith, you will not go. And in case somebody happens to talk to you and say that this is a better way.
But Mr. Hegde, then, unfortunately, you're up against or One
No,
second,
no,
you're
let
up
me put
against
it- let me put
traditions.
it this
You're up
way.
against traditions who are not as liberal. Let's be honest.
No,
They are more
let me put
rigid.
it this way. Let me put it this
And
way.
if you are saying that, okay, you know, Hinduism, which is true.
You can be a Hindu by religion, but you need not be a Hindutvavadi by politics.
No, I'm not talking about Hindutva
All
here. This is nothing to do with Hindutva. Now you're no. Now you're
ultimately it is numbers.
okay. But
When-
Mr.
when-
Hegde,
when you
you're
say-
now
No.
okay.
I am
Okay.
telling you.
One
that this is
second.
where
Why are
I
we
come
bringing
from.
Hindutva into it? I'm only
No,
talking
this is
about.
where I'm coming from. This is where I'm coming from.
No, you may
That
be coming
once
from
one-
there, but even Hindutva, people.
so-
No, hang on. Within the faith, within the tradition, since you say you can adopt any tradition, we are so pluralistic. Why can't someone be a Hindutvavadi? If
Of
you can
course
be an
you can
Islamic,
be. Of course you
so
can.
then fine.
Of course
So it
you
gives
can
you the
be, but
choice.
that is
But now the
politics.
problem
That
is,
not
viewers,
politics. That is politics. That
if
is
Hindu
not
is
faith.
yeah, okay, I understand. If Hinduism or the Hindu tradition allows you to pursue many different paths, the others don't, viewers. The others don't. They say it's either our way or the highway. One second now, Mr. Hegde, let me bring in Mr.
One last sentence. Hinduism also has monotheistic traits. There are Iyengars who
I am
will
saying that
will
it is
worship only Vishnu.
I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. It is such an amorphous tradition. It doesn't believe in converting anybody. It says you can go and do what you want to do. One second.
ISKCON people convert all the time.
Mr. Hegde, there are no ceremonies and all of this. There's an attempt at trying to bring people into a point of view which in any case doesn't recognize one central book or one monotheistic belief or one God. So it doesn't really matter who are you converting into. You're converting into a very loose tradition, but you're up against very aggressive traditions where people are ordained, their adherents are ordained to convert. So, as I'm saying, Hinduism does start with a great disadvantage, viewers, in the face of more aggressive traditions. And Vishnu Shankar Jain, you've heard Mr. Hegde, and he says, look, it can't be under the constitution because the freedom to propagate, actually, if you ban it, it impinges upon a very central core, which is the right to choose privately, make decisions, etc., etc. Where do you stand on this? Has the time come perhaps to strike down this business of propagate in the articleship of the Constitution? Should we just remove it from Article 25?
See, Rahul, I think this is a very, very important debate on a very, very important topic. And I think this is a real issue which you have raised today. And before opening up my statement, we have a lot of respect for Mr. Sanjay Hegde, who is a senior advocate practicing in the Supreme Court. But during his remarks, Mr. Hegde has said that Hinduism also includes the Abrahamic faiths, that can also be a path by which...
monotheistic. I said
yes,
monotheistic.
So
only Vishnu, the Iyengars.
Just a minute. Let me finish my point. See, the point is this. I don't know what is the understanding Mr. Hegde has about. Let me finish, sir. I don't know what is the concept which Mr. Hegde is having in his mind about Hinduism. But the fact of the matter is, and this is the proposition of law which I want to put in today. Proposition of law is very, very straight, which the Honorable Supreme Court has said, and which Mr. Hegde also knows, that no right in the Constitution is an absolute right. So, if you have a right to propagate, it is subject to various checks. It is subject to public order, health and morality. Now, let me come to a very, very important enactment which the Uttar Pradesh government has brought in 2021. And what is the check, Rahul? The check is under Section 2A of allurement. How allurement is defined? Allurement means and includes offer of any temptation in form of any gift, gratification, easy money or material benefit either in cash or kind, employment, free education in reputed school run by a religious body, better lifestyle, divine displeasure or otherwise. And how coercion is defined under the Act? Coercion means compelling an individual to act against his will by the use of psychological pressure or physical force causing bodily injury or threat thereof. And Rahul, these are the factors on which the UP Act 2021 has been legislated. And I think every legal luminary in this country will agree on this proposition that even if you have a right to propagate, you do not have a right to convert anybody by coercion or undue influence or by fraudulent means. In fact, Rahul, in this act, under section 2E of the act, fraudulent means has also been defined, which says includes impersonation of any kind by false name, surname, religious symbol or otherwise. And the very, very important part is that my Lord Honorable Mr. Justice Rohit Ranjan Agarwal, in this judgment at paragraph number 15, has held that the constitutional clearly, and I'm quoting it, the constitutional clearly envisages and permits its citizens right to freedom of religion in respect to their professing, practicing and propagating its religion. It does not, please underline this line, it does not allow or permit any citizen to convert any citizen from one religion to another religion. This is what the Honorable High Court has held. So Rahul, the proposition of law is very, very clear that even if you have a right to propagate your religion, but you cannot convert anybody by coercion, undue influence, fraudulent means, and you do not have a right to convert anybody. In fact, in this UP legislation, en masse conversion is also made a punishable offense. So in this background, this particular case has risen. And Rahul, I must also highlight and flag on this show today that we have to trace into this nexus of funding of this conversion and these missionaries who are doing conversion on en masse level. I am having first-hand data so far as Chhattisgarh and various states of this country are concerned, where en masse conversion is happening. And that is what the Honorable High Court has highlighted, that if this kind of activities are allowed to go on in this country, one day the majority population will become a minority population.
So on this issue, let me just bring in the AIMM's Mr. Hassan also, and of course Karan Verma. Mr. Hassan, there are anxieties. And there are of course anxieties amongst Muslims or non-Hindus, let's put it like that, about majoritarian imposition. That, the Hindus will dominate. Now, in the interest of reciprocity, since we accept that you have anxieties, the non-Hindus are equally obligated to appreciate Hindu anxieties about conversion. Now, you've heard Mr. Jain say that, look, one day the majority will become a minority because we are up against faiths that are aggressive, that want to convert, etc., to their cause. Nothing wrong. According to the Constitution, you're allowed to propagate, but it's very difficult, as I said, to distinguish between propagation and, allurements, this, that, the other. It's very difficult. So I want to ask you, sir, should not faith leaders from, let's say, your community or, let's say, non-Hindu communities stop the idea of converting entirely?
Rahul, Senior Advocate Sanjay Hegde Sahib briefly explained everything of the Constitution. I hope everybody must understand this, that he talked about Constitution, he talked briefly. And he is a practicing Hindu. And Mr. Jain, everybody knows why Mr. Jain tilts from which side to which side. Everybody knows. But Sanjay Hegde Sahib categorically explained everything. And India is not a country of Muslim, Hindu, Christian or any religion. India is the religion that every 50 kilometers we change our food habits.
Mr. Hassan,
this is the reality.
No, I understand. If that is the case, can I ask you, if that is the case,
yes, sir,
then why do you need to convert?
Nobody. See, what Baba Sahib Ambedkar told about
I'm asking
Hinduism.
You, sir, if it
India
is,
the
if
country
all,
of Lord
no, one
Mahavira,
second, if
India
all,
is the country of Lord
if you are so open to
Buddha,
everyone else's traditions, then let them stay. No, what I'm saying, नहीं वो मैं समझता हूँ हसन जी, मैं आपको ही वही सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ. अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि भाई हिंदुस्तान में सब एक basically everyone is on one basic plinth, one plank, and we are all Indians first, then why should certain people look at the world from the eyes of kafir and non-kafir? Then give it up.
Being a Muslim, being an Indian, I know about India's Samvidhan Constitution.
Mr. Hassan, I'm asking you, just yesterday, for example, the court said in another matter, when it came to giving rights to Muslim ladies on alimony, it said that, look, we must move away from the faith ordainment and we should accept the law of the land, the civil law of the land, a uniform law. And the backlash to that you have seen already today. So if we are a land of milk and honey and no one really distinguishes on the basis of religion, then Mr. Verma, why do certain people look at the world in binaries?
So, Rahul, ironically, the ones who always preach about the right to religion are also the ones who do not condemn the tenet of their own faith, which seeks death penalty for apostates. In their own faith, if there is someone who converts out of free will from their faith, they prescribe death penalty. For that, none of them have the voice to actually issue any sort of condemnation, or a fatwa would be waiting for them right around the corner. And Vishnu Jain summed it up really well. There is a difference between free will and allurements. And allurements have gone on from love jihad to bags of rice to even cyber games. Do you remember that game Fortnite, where you could proceed to the next level only if you said certain chants or said the kalma or something of that sort? And these people have gone about it very surreptitiously. There are places in Kerala today where they show similarities between faiths. They talk all goody good stuff like similarities, where churches are referred to as Tirth Kshetra, where recital of chants from the Bible are called as Ved Patham, just to make you feel as if, it's the similar world. We are all connected to one. They are all connected to one, but they want you to convert to the other. Sanjay Hegde, he said it rightly. Hindus are very pluralistic. Yes, sir, they are pluralistic, but do not use this tendency of pluralism and acceptance to further the market goals of another religion that is functioning as a corporate and that wants to inflate its numbers. We are not interested in being converted just so because we are plural. We are very, very clear about it. We are not interested in converting others. Neither are we going to accept this entire mechanism that is being put in place to convert us into some other faith, because that is the risk to the world. I am very clear about the fact that the dharmic fold today is what is standing between a complete standardization and liberal values.
Okay.
As much as they preach tolerance and non-violence to Hindus, fact is this is the only faith that allows you multiple thoughts, that allows for pluralism. True religious secularism, if I may use that word, exists within the dharmic fold. Others prescribe apostasy or atonement or sins. So we at least don't resort to all of that. We are fine with your faith.
Okay,
but
so very quickly, that's a good point that Karan Verma has made, Mr. Hegde. Very quickly, and I want to bring in Mr. Jain also, to both of you. So it isn't clearly a level playing field, Mr. Hegde. Hinduism is doomed to frit away because propagation has become a cover for proselytization. It's dealing with religions that don't play by the same rules, Mr. Hegde. So something needs to change.
Hinduism has survived Aurangzeb. Hinduism survived the British Empire. Hinduism is never under threat. The Hindu mind is Catholic, can take over a whole host of contradictions and everything.
Okay.
So listen.
Okay.
I'll tell you who is under threat. The threat will be a particular kind of priestly class who says that, you see, the number of people coming to my temple will come down. Therefore, everybody who was born within it must be within it. The thing is,
let's
Hinduism,
not generalize.
Just
let's
a minute,
not generalize,
just a
Mr.
minute.
Hegde.
Don't interrupt. Hinduism is also has atheists. It has agnostics. It has a
I understand all that. You've made that point. We are also saying, but it isn't a level playing field, because on the other side, there is nothing called an atheist. Either you belong or you die, unfortunately. Some of them have even edicts to that effect. So, Mr. Shankar Jain, I want to understand, how do we protect this beautiful tradition, which will come under pressure, and it has in different parts of the country. Demographic change is rampant in certain parts of the country. You know this. Why hide and run away from it?
See, Rahul, the situation is very, very serious, and it is not as simple as Mr. Hegde is pointing out, that it is not a concern of a priest, sir, that he will be concerned that the numbers of devotees will lessen. It is not just that, sir. It is much more serious and much more egregious. Please try to appreciate that. All right, Hinduism has survived Aurangzeb's era, but Hinduism has survived Aurangzeb's era by giving jizya. Hinduism has survived Mughal rule by seeing that their temples were demolished. Do you want to see the same Hinduism being surviving in today's constitutional era? Being a practicing advocate in the Supreme Court, sir, being a senior advocate. Today the fact
It's easy for you to say that, Mr. Hegde. You have to be open to someone else's Hinduism also.
No. So
You can't just say, my Hinduism is different. Anyhow, viewers, as I told you, this is a difficult subject. This is a difficult subject. But let me stick my neck out. Let me stick my neck out. Let me stick my neck out. I think, viewers, the time has come to relook at the law. Fundamentally relook at the Article 25 and the wordings of that article. Now, who is going to take that step, viewers? I can't decide. The government, of course, is in a position. It has the numbers. Will it step forward? Or will perhaps somebody else come out from among the legal fraternity and mount a channel? I'll leave it at this, viewers. We're coming right back. The case against Mr. Kejriwal has taken a very serious turn, viewers. We'll elaborate on that when we return. Don't go away.